Harlowe build that I am dubbing the Oppenheimer Harlowe build. This build is honestly broken. I'm like killing a boss in less than a second, even in Ultimate Vault Hunter 2. So let's get into the skill trees and the equipment. This skill tree is ridiculous. The main augment that makes this build is this neutron capture one. It doesn't sound as good as it is. So it will calculate your total damage dealt with your chroma accelerator and then apply that to every bullet. So say you do 100,000 damage, you will do 4,000 damage per instance of damage that you can do. So you just want to hit the boss as fast as possible in the 8 seconds that it's active. I take Cyclotron for the fire rate. I go Field Ready Prototype for the action skill damage because you just want to make it so you get as much action skill damage as you can. And because it's radiation, you want to get the Elementary that boosts your element damage and status effect chance. Get Enriched for the extra radiation damage. This one is, it helps you survive when your shield breaks. It'll do radiation damage to everyone you've entangled with your ult, so you'll instantly get overshield back. I had a spare point, so I went with Get Up and Go for the increased movement speed when I use my ult. Practical applications in the first tree to get the extra 35% skill damage, again to make it so that you're doing as much damage as possible. Every skill in the middle tree. I'll go through them real quick. Poison Sun, more radiation damage and radiation chance. I use Fissile Launcher with the ult because as soon as you hit someone with an ult, they get irradiated. So when you damage an irradiated enemy, it shoots a radiation dart to another enemy that also radiates that enemy. It just spreads. Killing an irradiated enemy or killing an enemy with radiation damage leave behind a radiation hazard, that just puts a pool of radiation on the floor and it further spreads radiation. The critical chance with guns against radiation is so good. It just scales so much. Glow Up's good because it gives you 25% crit chance on enemies that are irradiated, which is everything that you're fighting. Chain Reactor deals bonus radiation damage to entangled enemies. Anyone that you hit with your ult gets entangled. It's good. I go with Dirty Bomb as well because it's busted. You irradiate an enemy and then another explosion will happen that does 40% of that damage. And then the last points I have is Mechanical Brilliance, which is as your ult is doing damage to an enemy, it scales in damage. So for every tick that your ult does, it'll do 10% more damage up to 5 stacks. So by the end of it, it'll be doing 50% more damage. The whole goal of the build is to do as much damage with your ult as possible, and then in the 8 seconds that the augment is active, you want to do as many instances of damage as possible with weapons. So the way I do it is I will ult them, and then as soon as it explodes, I swap to this, which is the fastest firing minigun that I have found, and it just shreds every boss. There's probably faster ones, let me know down in the comments, but this is what I've got. This whole build is pretty much just the minigun and the class mod. The class mod is Chemist. It comes with the skill points in the red tree for radiation damage, proccing radiation. That's just mainly what you do is radiation damage. That's pretty much it. The other thing is the fireworks that you can farm from Splash Zone near the start of the game. If you get radiation resist, that is what the missile swarm and the bundled on kill spawns missiles that home in on nearby enemies. That is the element of those rockets, and it does so much damage. It spreads all your radiation. It detonates 90% of your perks for radiation damage, explosions, entangled. It does everything. I also have this, which is Jacob's License Pants gain 40% chance to ricochet non-critical hits, which you shoot the boss in the face with a shotgun, it'll kill everything else and detonate onto him. The build could be better, but I have a level 27 class mod because I haven't found anything better. And an enhancement is level 31 because I haven't found anything better. I could get something with ordnance damage, radiation damage, elemental damage, but I just haven't found any. But your goal is to get as much radiation damage as possible because that's how your build scales. I also have Airstrike on my Stim, my Ordnance, and my class mod, which it's just an extra rocket that comes out of an enemy when you kill them. I also like to run a shotgun. Just your goal is to have as much instances of damage coming out. So I use this shotgun. So it shoots 10 times, which every shot will proc 10 of the augment. I've seen people using SMGs. I use a shotgun. That's just, if you don't do enough damage with the minigun, you just swap to another weapon and use as much projectiles as you can. Alright, those are the trees. Let me run you guys through how to actually use the build and get the most out of it. This is this is your gameplay loop. You go into a boss fight. Ult the boss. I don't think this is gonna be too good. But as soon as it explodes, you start shooting it. Your gun will glow yellow, and you get a ton of buffs, and the boss will be dead. Do another one. You want to try and get your ult to do as much damage to everything as possible. Doesn't have to be the boss. I mean, it helps because you're also doing that extra damage. And then it hits the roof. My gun turns yellow. Start shooting. Easy as that. And when there's more enemies, your radiation damage will spread radiation to other enemies. Those enemies will die. They'll shoot rockets into the air at the boss. And they do a ton of damage to the boss if your machine gun is not enough. Thanks for watching. If you want to see more builds, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe.